Hello guys, it's Antonio again with another video for NBA 2K. This is for the fifth official NBA 2K26 roster update from January 8th, 2025. And for anyone new to my channel, I go over the ratings increases for all rookies, all rookie caps that I created from NBA 2K26. I focus on their overall increase and decrease ratings, as well as their badge changes. And for all other players in the game, I go over their position changes. So we'll start with the 76ers. For all of the rookies, to make the video shorter, I already did their updates, but I'll go through them. There was one rookie increase for the 76ers, and that was BJ Edgecombe. In the 2K update, he went from an 81 to an 82. Me using the 2K26 attributes. In my roster, he was an 80 the last update, and he remains an 80 this update. He had 10 badges. He keeps 10 badges. As far as position changes, there's one for Paul George. So we'll go through that really quick. He is now primarily a power forward, secondary position, small forward. And that's it for the 76ers. Make sure that kept. And it did. Okay. For the Milwaukee Bucks, we don't have any rookie updates, but we do have 5 position changes. Starting with Andre Jackson Jr. He goes primary position, small forward, secondary position, shooting guard. Kevin Porter Jr. He goes to point guard, secondary position, shooting guard. Bobby Portis, primary position, center, secondary position, power forward. Ryan Rollins, primary position, shooting guard, secondary position, point guard. And Gary Trent Jr., primary position, shooting guard, secondary position, small forward. All right, that's it for the Bucks. We do have 3 position changes. First one is for Josh Giddey. Only his secondary position change to shooting guard from small forward. Kevin Huerter, he switches to primary shooting guard, secondary position, small forward. And the rookie Lachlan Obrook, his primary position now is center, secondary position, power forward. That's it for the Bulls. Only one position change, and that's for Alonzo Ball. His primary position stays at point guard, but his secondary position changes to shooting guard. That's it for the Cavaliers. All right, we did have one rookie update, and that was for Hugo Gonzalez. In the 2K ratings, he went up 2 points from a 73 to a 75. Using 2K26's attributes, he went from a 72 to a 75 in my roster. He had 0 badges all season. He still has 0 badges now. And I have 4 position changes. Starting with Chris Bouchard. He changed primary position to center, secondary position power forward. Jaylen Brown. He's still small forward primary, but his secondary position changes to power forward. And Josh Minott. His primary position is power forward still, but he changes secondary to center. And the rookie Amari Williams, excuse me. His primary position changes to center, secondary position power forward. That's it for the Celtics. We do have two rookie updates for the Clippers. No position changes. All right, first one is for Kobe Sanders. He went up 2 points in the ratings update, went from a 72 to a 74. In my roster as well, he went from a 72 to a 74. He didn't have any badges last time, so he did get two badges this update. The next one is for Yannick Conan Niedermeyer. He went up 3 points in the 2K update. He went from a 69 to a 72. And in my roster, he went from a 69 to a 71. He had one badge last update, and he keeps one badge this update. And that's it for the Clippers. We have three position changes for the Grizzlies, starting with G.G. Jackson. His primary now is small forward, secondary position, power forward. Next one for Cam Spencer. He switches primary point guard, secondary position shooting guard. And Jalen Wells, his primary position is small forward, secondary position shooting guard. That's it for the Grizzlies. For the Hawks, we have three position changes. Starting with Nickeil Alexander Walker. He switched primary position to point guard, secondary position shooting guard. All right, Nikola, he changes primary position small forward, secondary position shooting guard. And for Caleb Houston, he switches to primary shooting guard, secondary position small forward. That's it for the Hawks. All right, for the Heat, we do have one rookie update, and that's for Kasparis. He went up 2 points in the 2K update. He went from a 71 to a 73. In my roster, he went from a 71 to a 72. He had four badges the last update. He keeps four badges this update. We also had three position changes, starting with Bam Adebayo. All right, Bam changes primary position to center, secondary position power forward. And Myron Gardner, his primary position is small forward, secondary position shooting guard. And Jamie Jaquez Jr., or Jaime Jaquez Jr., his primary position changes to power forward, secondary position small forward. That's it for the Heat. All right, we did have one rookie update, and that's for Con Knipple. Him and Cooper Flag are still in 2K26. They're still the highest rated rookies at 85. So Con Knipple in the official 2K update, he went up 1 point from an 84 to an 85. In my roster, he went from an 81 to an 82. He had 11 badges the last update, and he keeps 11 badges this update. And that's all we have for the Hornets. For the Utah Jazz, we do have one rookie update, and that's for Ace Bailey. He went up 1 point in the update. He went from a 77 to a 78. In my roster, he went from a 76 to a 77. And he had four badges the last update. He keeps four badges for this update. And we do have three position changes. All right, starting with Makaluk. He changes primary position shooting guard, secondary position small forward. Bryce Sensabaugh. His primary position now is shooting guard. Secondary position, small forward. And for the rookie John Tanji, he changed his primary position, is small forward. Secondary position, shooting guard. Yep, that's all we have for the Jazz. Next, the Sacramento Kings. We have 3 rookie updates. All right, and the first one is for Maxime Renard. He went up 2 points in the 2K update from a 77 to a 79. In my roster, he went from a 76 to a 77. He did have 1 badge increase. He had 1 badge last update, and he goes to 2 this update. The next one is for Neek Clifford. He went up 3 points in the 2K update from a 72 to a 75. In my roster as well, he went from a 72 to a 75. He had 1 badge last update. He keeps 1 badge this update. And the last one is for Dylan Cardwell. He went up 3 points in the 2K update from a 68 to a 71. And in my roster, he went from a 68 to a 70. He had 1 badge for the last update, and he keeps 1 badge for this update. As well for the Kings, we did have 2 position changes. Starting with Keon Ellis, his primary position went to shooting guard, secondary position small forward. And for Dario Saric, primary position now is power forward, secondary position center. That's it for the Kings. We had 1 rookie update for the Knicks, and that's Mohamed Diawara. He went up 5 points in the 2K update from a 68 to a 73. In my roster, he went from a 68 to a 72. He also had a badge increase. He didn't have any badges the entire season, and then he did get 1 badge increase for this update. And we also have 4 position changes. All right, starting with Mikal Bridges. He goes primary position shooting guard, secondary position small forward. Next for Miles McBride, primary position goes to shooting guard, secondary position point guard. And for Kevin McClure Jr., his primary position changes to small forward, secondary position shooting guard. And for Landry Shamet, his primary position stays at shooting guard, but his secondary position changes to small forward. All right, that's it for the Knicks. Make sure that took Shamet. Yep. All right, for the Lakers, we have 5 position changes. Starting with Bronny James. Hachimura. All right, so Rui, his primary position stays at power forward, but his secondary goes to small forward. Bronny James, he changes to primary point guard, secondary position shooting guard. Jake LaRavia, primary position stays at small forward, secondary position goes to shooting guard. Austin Reeves, primary position stays at shooting guard, secondary position goes to small forward. And for Nick Smith Jr., his primary position is point guard, secondary position shooting guard. All right, that's it for the Lakers. For the Magic, we did have 2 rookie updates. First one is for Jace Richardson. He went up 3 points in the 2K update from a 72 to a 75. In my roster, he also went up 3 points, but from a 71 to a 74. He had 3 badges last update, still remains with 3 badges this update. The next one is for Noah Penda. He went up 1 point in the 2K update from a 74 to a 75. In my roster, using the 2K26 attributes, he was a 74 last time. He remains a 74 this update. He also had 1 badge last update, and he keeps 1 badge this update. We also have 3 position changes, starting with Anthony Black. All right, primary position remains point guard. Secondary position goes to shooting guard. Next for Colin Castleton, he changes to power forward, and his secondary position now is center. And then for Franz Wagner, his primary position remains small forward, but his secondary position goes to power forward. That's all we have for the Bucks. I'm sorry, for the Magic. Now for the Dallas Mavericks, we do have 2 rookie updates. The first one is for Cooper Flag. Like I said, him and Con Knipple in 2K26. Both of their ratings are 85. They're the highest rated rookies in the game. A little bit different for 2K25 using 2K26's attributes. So Cooper Flag, he went up 1 point in the roster update from an 84 to an 85. In my roster, he also went up 1 point, an 83 to an 84 though. He had 11 badges last update. He keeps 11 badges this update. The next update is for Ryan Nimhard. He actually went down 1 point in the 2K update. He went from a 78 to a 77. In my roster, he was a 76 and he remains a 76. Again, using 2K26's attributes. He had 8 badges last time and he keeps 8 badges this time. We also had 5 position changes, starting with Anthony Davis. So Anthony Davis, primary position goes to power forward, secondary position center. Najee Marshall, his primary position goes to small forward, secondary position power forward, as well as Caleb Martin, primary position small forward, secondary position power forward. D'Angelo Russell goes back to primary position point guard, secondary position shooting guard. And PJ Washington, primary position changes to small forward, secondary position power forward. And that's all we have for the Dallas Mavericks. All right, for the Nets, we have 3 rookie updates, no position changes. So the first rookie we have is Igor Dimin. He went up 1 point in the 2K update from a 76 to a 77. In my roster, he went from a 75 to a 76. He did have a badge increase. Last update, he had 8 badges. This update, he went to 10. So he had a 2 badge increase. The next rookie is Danny Wolf. He actually went down 1 point in the 2K update, went from a 76 to a 75. In my roster as well, he went from a 76 to a 75. He had 2 badges the last update. He keeps 2 badges this update. And the last rookie is Drake Powell. He went down 2 points in the official 2K26 update. He went from a 74 to a 72. In my roster update, he went from 72 to a 71. He had 2 badges the last update, and he keeps 2 badges this update as well. On to the Nuggets. We have 4 position changes. Start with Deron Holmes, the second. His primary position changes to center, secondary position power forward. Cameron Johnson. His primary now is small forward, secondary position, shooting guard. Spencer Jones, primary position stays small forward, but secondary position changes to power forward. And for Peyton Watson, he changes to primary small forward, secondary position power forward. That's it for the Nuggets. For the Pacers, we do have 4 position changes. Starting with Quentin Jackson. Primary position changes to shooting guard. Secondary position point guard. Next, the rookie Taylon Peter. His primary position changes to point guard. Secondary position shooting guard. Micah Potter, His primary position changes to center, secondary position power forward. And Jarris Walker, his primary position remains power forward. Secondary position changes from center to small forward. That's it for the Pacers. For the Pelicans, we do have 2 rookie updates. First one is for Derek Queen. He went down 1 point in the 2K update from an 82 to an 81. In my roster, using 2K's 26's attributes, he was an 80 last update. He remains an 80 for this update. He had 10 badges last time, and he keeps 10 badges this time. Also, Jeremiah Fears, he went down 2 points in the 2K update. He went from an 80 to a 78. And in my roster, he went from a 79 to a 77, which is 2 points as well. He had 12 badges last update. He keeps 12 badges this update. We do have 3 position changes. First for Bryce McGoins. His primary position stays shooting guard, but his secondary position changes to point guard. Trey Murphy III. His primary position changes to shooting guard, secondary position small forward. And for Jordan Poole, primary position changes to shooting guard, secondary position point guard. That's it for the Pelicans. The Pistons, we do have 2 position changes. Starting with Jenkins. His primary position changes to point guard, secondary position shooting guard. And Karis LeVert, primary position changes to small forward and secondary position shooting guard. Yep, that's it for the Pistons. For the Raptors, we do have 4 position changes. Starting with Ochi. His primary position changes to power forward, secondary position small forward. All right, for Jamison Battle, his primary position changes to power forward, secondary position small forward. And for AJ Lawson, primary position changes to small forward, secondary position shooting guard. And for Jonathan, his primary position changes to center, secondary position power forward. Yep, that's it for them. All right, that's it for the Raptors. Okay, for the Rockets, we have 6 position changes. Starting with KD. His primary position changes to small forward, secondary position shooting guard. Tari Eason, his primary position changes to shooting guard, secondary position small forward. Dorian Finney-Smith, his primary remains power forward, but his secondary moves to small forward. Aaron Holiday, he goes to primary shooting guard, secondary position point guard. And for Sinjin, he remains at center, but he picks up a secondary position, which is power forward. And Jabari Smith Jr., he keeps his primary remains at power forward, but his secondary position moves from center to small forward. That's it for the Rockets. Only have one position change for the Spurs, and that's for David Jones Garcia. All right, his primary changes from point guard to shooting guard, secondary position, point guard. That's it for the Spurs. We do have one rookie update for Rasheer Fleming. All right, in the 2K update, he went up 1 point from a 70 to a 71. And in my roster as well, he went from a 70 to a 71. He didn't have any badges all season. He doesn't get a badge this update, unfortunately. We do have 4 position changes. Starting with Grayson Allen. His primary position goes to small forward, secondary position shooting guard. Devin Booker, his primary changes to point guard, secondary position shooting guard. Dylan Brooks, his primary goes to power forward, secondary position small forward. And Isaiah Livers, his primary goes to small forward, secondary position power forward. That's all for the Suns. We didn't have any updates for OKC. We do have one position change for the, we have one position change for the Timberwolves. And that's for Enrique Freeman. His primary changes to power forward, secondary position center. That's it for the Timberwolves. For the Blazers, we do have one rookie update, and that's for Caleb Love. So he went up 2 points in the 2K update from a 72 to a 74. In my roster, he also went up 2 points, but from a 70 to a 72. He didn't have any badges last update, still has no badges now. We do have 5 position changes. Started with Denny Atvia. He goes, well, primary position stays small forward, but secondary position changes to point guard. For Sidi Sissoko, his primary now is small forward, secondary position shooting guard. And for Jabari Grant, his primary position changes to power forward, secondary position small forward. Chris Murphy, primary position now is small forward, secondary position power forward. And Shaden Sharp, primary position remains shooting guard, but his secondary position now is point guard. That's it for the Blazers. Warriors, we do have four position changes, starting with Seth Curry. His primary now is point guard, secondary position shooting guard. Moses Moody. He goes from primary small forward to shooting guard, secondary position small forward. And Brandon Pajinski, his primary goes back to point guard, secondary position shooting guard. And Santos, his primary now is power forward, secondary position small forward. All right, that's it for the Warriors. And last but not least, the Wizards. We do have one rookie update, and that's for Trey Johnson. He went up 2 points in the 2K update from a 76 to a 78. He also goes up 2 points in my roster from a 75 to a 77. He had 4 badges last time, and he keeps 4 badges this time. But we also have 6 position changes. Starting with Malachi. All right, his primary position stays shooting guard, but his secondary changes to point guard. Bud Carrington, his primary position changes to point guard, secondary position shooting guard. For Justin Champagny, his primary changes from small forward to power forward, secondary position small forward. And for Keyshawn George, his primary position changes to small forward, secondary position power forward. For Anthony Gill, primary changes to center, secondary position power forward. And for Cam Whitmore, his primary position changes back to small forward, secondary position power forward. And that's all we have for the 5th official 2K26 update for this is for, again, PS5, NBA, PS4, excuse me, NBA 2K25. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Happy New Year's. Please like and subscribe so we can grow the channel. And until next time.